My husband of 20 years is cheating on me with our son's 18-year-old girlfriend.
Really, man? You're gonna make me grumpy this close to Christmas?
So this is one Reddit story we're reading today. It's in like 5 parts. It's a saga, if you will. I don't really know much about it other than it ends with drama and intrigue and a little bit of mystery. Let's dive in. I'm going to use pseudonyms for anyone I reference in this post. I, 41 female, am a stay-at-home mom. My husband, 48 male, whom we'll call Paul, works in finance. We have been married for nearly 20 years. We have 2 kids, whom I'll call Eric, our 18-year-old son, currently a senior in high school, and Mary, our 15-year-old daughter. They are both the lights of my life. My marriage with my husband has grown somewhat stale over the years for a myriad of reasons, such as his work schedule and how I've aged poorly since we first met. Our son, Eric, has a girlfriend, 18 female, whom he's been dating since they were freshmen in high school. We'll call her Amy. Eric absolutely adores Amy. She's his first love, and she's someone I've always considered as family. This makes the whole situation emotionally excruciating for me. Last week, I inadvertently saw my husband's phone screen and got a glimpse of a text thread between my husband and Amy, our son's girlfriend. And I read what looked like a message of her telling him that she misses sucking his...
Height, double height, loathe entirely.
I froze in place in complete disbelief. I spent most of the day convincing myself that I must have misread what I saw. However, I didn't misread it because over the last several days I discovered a file on his computer filled with tons of BDSM corn. He clearly has a corn addiction. I love corn. You know, good stuff, good vegetable. He also has saved photos of Amy from her Instagram on his computer. Although they weren't inappropriate, she was fully clothed, it was still the proof that I needed to confirm that I wasn't going crazy. I also looked at his phone during opportune moments and saw more of their interactions. I wish I had never looked. Please don't tell us what you saw. Just euphemisms, please. They were filled with mean, horrible things said at my expense, with him constantly comparing me to her. He would call me fat and old, among other things, with Amy lolling.
Quit trying to leave, flag guy.
Okay. I've always had hunches or paranoid feelings that Paul has been cheating on me, but never in a million years I could have fathomed something like this. Last month, I found a thorn in our bedroom that I know wasn't mine. I turned a blind eye to it, being naive and acting like it was maybe our daughter's, even though that made 0 sense. Not only is he cheating on me, but he's betraying our son. I'm completely devastated. I don't even think words can adequately describe the dread, anger, and shock I feel right now. I'm totally overwhelmed on how to handle this because obviously actions need to be taken, but I'm terrified of what kind of psychic blow this will be for my son. I have no idea how to even broach this completely f***ed up topic with him. I wouldn't wish this predicament on my worst enemy. I can't even believe I married this scumbag in the first place. And then my mind started to race, realizing I started noticing specifically unusual behavior from him around the same time Amy turned 18. Was he waiting for her to turn 18 before pursuing this affair? There's so many layers to all of this, and I'm completely paralyzed with fear and dread about it all. None of it makes any fucking sense. How did this happen? Am I that much of a stupid idiot to let all of this happen under my watch? Eric adores Amy, and the thought of revealing this sickening truth to him terrifies me. The impact on his young heart and mind could be devastating. My heart aches for Eric and Mary, who are completely innocent bystanders. I haven't confronted my husband about this because I'm frankly scared of the domino effect. I don't know who to turn to first about this. I share my story not for sympathy, but in search of understanding and perhaps advice from those who might have had to grapple with deep betrayal. Thank you for listening.
Hey, is there a reason we're not filming this at the park this time? I was too grumpy to go to the park today, so. You're too socially anxious to drive around in public with a Grinch outfit, aren't you? Yes.
And then naturally she had a few people questioning how legitimate this is because we're in the age of AI and the internet and just who knows what's real at this point. So she replied to somebody and said, "To not have my initial post be long-winded because I didn't think I needed to get into the minutia of this, I didn't bother going into those details. However, I inadvertently saw it was his. He was on his phone. He did not have iMessage open currently on screen, but the application was still open. You know, on the iPhone, when you swipe up and it shows all of the applications that are open and you can close them. When he was closing out the application, something he does compulsively, I noticed it. It's not like he was some kind of idiotic buffoon having iMessage open for all to see. I saw he forgot he had the application running when he swiped up from a completely different app. I also did say in my post that I went back to his phone to actually solidify my suspicion on a different day. So you are incorrect in asserting that I'm now magically changing my story. I'm being consistent. Dude, I don't know what do you do? You know, I guess you have to confront the husband, I would reckon, and you would have to, of course, tell the kids, because you have to tell them at some point. They're going to notice that he's just not in the house. You can't just keep going like, I don't know where he is. He went out to lunch last month, and I don't know. You just have to tell them, but how do you do it, dude? I feel like you have to go to therapy first to figure out how to say it in the right way, if there's even a right way. Also, he's 100% been grooming her for years. I don't think she would be so involved and so mean and hateful to the mom. I don't think she would be so heavily involved with the son and then just immediately flip to the dad and then become just this hateful to the mother so quickly. And just, I think this would take a long period of time of unraveling the synapses in her head, you know? And boy, I mean, what a perfect time for him to try something like this, 20 years, because then she can just easily write it off as like, oh, it's gone stale. It's like the perfect opportunity for him to hide all this, because it's the easy, conclusion is, oh, well, it's just, we've been together too long. So, I don't know. Let's continue. Okay, update number 1. My brother connected me to a very tough junkyard dog-type lawyer. I saved screenshots of all of his conversations with Amy. I was only able to get the last 3 months from iCloud. The conversations were mostly flirty and dirty talk, and it was hard to stomach, completely sleazy, and I saw several negative things said about me. His call history showed he talks with her for hours pretty consistently. Look, what do you talk about with an 18-year-old? K-pop demon hunter? He uses dating apps. I took screenshots of his profiles and all the active chats he has with his matches. It's very clear he uses a filter to seek out girls who are 18 to 22 or so.
So this is Christmas, and what have we done?
I copied all of his files from the computer. He goes on chat rooms and forums, and he spends a ton of money on OF. I rummaged through every possible hiding spot I can think of in the house. He had various toys, blindfolds, cuffs, lubricant. God. Ugh. He also had different outfits, which looks kind of like a girl's Catholic school uniform and a French-maid type outfit, too. I picked up Eric and Mary from school, and we all drove to my brother's. They were able to sense something was awry when I picked them up. I delicately told them the entire situation, and I broke down crying. Mary had the most anger, even more than Eric. I met with Amy's mother and told her everything. She confiscated Amy's phone and gave me the entire chat log. It only dated back 3 months ago, like on my husband's cloud, almost if they had both deleted the messages at the same time. She told me Amy sobbed when confronted. Amy basically told her mother that she will never understand and that she and him are in love. I don't want to get into too many details with what else she was saying, but suffice to say, it's very easy to assume that my husband slowly and methodically became a sage-like figure in her life, making her feel she could rely on him, and he took advantage of the fact that she came from a broken home. Amy is also nonstop insistent that their friendship only became romantic/physical recently, and before that, she said he was more of a friend and mentor.
Another year older.
I confronted Paul over Zoom. The look on his face was scary. He became red and looked so sweaty. He had anger and panic in his eyes. His tone of voice was very defensive and frightening, and he kept yelling the word context over and over again, and that none of that happened. He was unable to speak without constant stutters and intensity. Nothing really made any sense to me. I refused to tell him where I was, and he said I had no right to take his kids away from him, and then he abruptly left the Zoom. My lawyer is filing for temporary sole custody of Mary and a restraining order. Mary is still the most angry. She's totally furious with her dad and Amy, justifiably so, of course. Mary is recollecting moments in times she watched her dad interact with her friends, and she's in knots about it. Eric is very clearly hurting, but he's so strong and very level-headed. He wants to see a therapist. The maturity my kids are showing makes me proud. They don't deserve this at all. We made the authorities aware of everything. I plan on being completely unforgiving and ruthless in this divorce. I'm reflecting on how I've been treated and how it's made me a shell of myself and how I've had a very negative opinion of myself because of him over the last 20 years. I don't want to let this scumbag get away with it. I want to reinvent myself and move on stronger than ever.
Cole just doesn't cut it for evil people. We need to give him something worse. Like, what about this? After Santa eats his milk and cookies, he drops his own little Yule log right into their actual socks.
First of all, I don't think it's the worst decision in the world to tell them just in the car, because number one, you can't hide the feelings from this. And then number two, it's like, when is it ever going to be a good time? You can't script this. There's no way to like plan this and like make it hit any less hard. You might as well just be honest, as long as you're not just overly graphic, of course. Every other way is going to be the same, I feel like. I could be wrong. You could enlighten me here if you've been through something similar. What I do know is that I would pay extra close attention to the son and Mary, but to the son too, because he's involved since it's his girlfriend. But to me, it's very easy for a teenager to hide the gravity of how they feel. You know, I went through quite a bit in high school, as I'm sure many people have, and I got pretty good at hiding stuff and how intensely horrible I felt, especially with like a kid's school. You know, it's just not popular to be sad and express yourself emotionally to your peers, especially to boys, like teenage boys. It's a landmine. So I'm sure he might be conditioned to maybe reel some of that in.
Hey, does your back hurt every single day of your dang life, all day long, like mine? Well, thankfully, this video is sponsored by FlexiSpot.
So I recently got my employee loan a brand new chair, but I decided to sit in it the other day. And now I'm jealous because I have permanent lumbar damage from a back injury that I suffered when I was 15 years old. And now I just live with this constant dull ache in this general region. But this chair actually soothes it. It's called the FlexiSpot C7 Max. It's got a 3D adjustable headrest that tilts to where my neck wants it, 5D armrests that move in every direction, lumbar support that actually supports my lumbar for once in my life. Yeah, and a couple more things. The seat depth is customizable. It's got a leg rest that's super comfy. I really like the look of it. But if the C7 Max is not within the budget, the C5 is a great high quality option with basic adjustments available, or there's the C7 Morpher for even more back support. Whatever works for you, visit their links in the description and use the code C750 for $50 off. Update number 2. We're all safe and still at my brother's house. We're very careful and his house is secured. Paul has tried to call my cell phone several times a day. I'm refusing to interact with him, and I will have my lawyer handle all correspondence. He scares me, frankly. My brother has a very secure house with an alarm system and deadbolt locks. We feel safe with him. Both my son and I got checked out and tested. It appears so far that we're both clean based on the immediate rapid tests, but in the coming days, we'll know for certain when the lab results come in. I'm not overly concerned. Eric is scheduled to see a therapist next week, which is very good and needed. He's not himself right now. He seems a bit shell-shocked, and I am concerned. He internalizes a lot. See, teenagers, and it's hard to get a read on what's going on in his head. That being said, he's thoughtful and has been talking with me, asking how I'm doing and everything. He's not interested in corresponding with his dad at all. He calls only my cell phone, and he hasn't tried to reach out to either Eric or Mary. Nothing? Like nothing, though? That sucks. That really sucks. Like not even like a, hey, buddy, it's your children, brother. I get the sense that Paul is extremely nervous. He's scared, and I think he deep down knows that if investigated thoroughly, he would be in big trouble. That's what my gut is telling me. I still think about the Zoom call with him, and the more I think about it, the more it looks like he was a man whose entire world was crashing down on him. The panic in his face was very apparent.
Yeah, do that again. That wasn't very convincing. How about you say that again? That was very hurtful, okay?
I offered Mary for me to make an appointment with a therapist as well, but she doesn't want to see one yet. She said she's open to it eventually, but she wants time to herself. She's been asking her friends about her dad and if they experienced any creepiness from him. Her friends were open and honest with her, and apparently they felt like he stared a lot and sensed his hovering presence when they were over. One of Mary's friends went so far as to say she felt like he was checking her out a lot, like looking at her rear and complimenting the color of her yoga pants. Ugh, so gross. Just a few years ago, they were just losing their baby teeth. You know, they're falling out because they're still babies. At the time, no issue was brought up about it, but in light of everything that has been happening, it seems strange now. He would sit himself in different areas or vantage points to get a good view of her, she claimed.
Help me. I'm feeling.
He also asked questions about what kind of friend group or which clique they were in at school. He kept asking about if they were popular girls. I'm completely embarrassed that they had this experience at our house. As for updates on Amy, which is the main reason why I wanted to write this update, I completely agree that she is also a victim. A lot of people have been emphasizing that, and I agree. I've done everything I could in my own power to indirectly get her opportunities to get help. Like I said, I told her mother, and she's been updating me on everything. Amy, unfortunately, is still living in her deluded reality, and I can only pray that she'll eventually come to her senses. She doesn't want to see any doctors or therapists at all, and has been constantly trying to reach Paul because, again, she believes that they are in love. From what I've been told, she hasn't been able to get a hold of him, and he's been avoiding communication with her completely. Amy blames me for that and believes I took away his devices and am very controlling. Any truth that her mother tries to convey to her is met with conspiracy theories and hostility. Amy looks at me as a villain and still sees Paul through rose-colored glasses. Her mother showed her screenshots of his dating app profiles and matches, and she refused to believe it, saying, "I've photoshopped it." According to her mom, Amy keeps saying things like everyone is just mad because she found her a real man, and that I'm jealous because she takes better care of him than I do. It's in line with some of the conversations I screenshot where a lot of what Paul says is him complaining about things I don't do for him sexually. Right now, she's insistent that she and Paul will be together in the long run. Ugh, he's honestly a slime ball. I can only hope that Amy comes to her senses, but me directly intervening doesn't feel like it would be productive at the moment. Maybe eventually, though.
Okay, 4 o'clock, wallow in self-pity. 4:30, stare into the abyss. 5 o'clock, calculate the volume of this man's audacity with my broken calculator. 5:30, red flag skipping exercises. 6:30, dinner with, actually, cancel that, I've lost my appetite. 7 o'clock, meditate so that I have the energy to stare into the abyss some more, and I'm booked.
And then there was this comment reply, which I think is quite illuminating and kind of confirms what we're probably all thinking. Do you think they kept that relationship secret for most of Eric and Amy's relationship? What a disgusting father and pig, if that is truth. I'm not sure when things got actually physical or romantic, but I do think his grooming started as soon as she came into the picture when Eric started dating her freshman year. This mentor and a friend that Amy alluded to had to start right away, and the way she's acting now, being so indebted and believing every single thing he says, shows that his effect on her had to be over a long period of time. She turned 18 like 5 months ago. Her behavior and infatuation for him seemed so strong that it couldn't possibly be 5 months of them being together. This goes beyond like slime ball behavior to me. I mean, this is psychotic. I think if a child that isn't his is noticing like just strange behavior along with him being able to groom a kid like this, I mean, that's a far level beyond. Like, you know, when you log onto a streaming service and the logo flashes on, like boom, and you see the new hit doc on the screen, like the Greensville Groomer or whatever, and then you click on it and watch the beginning of the trailer, and then the detective sits down, you know how they always do. Okay, where do I begin? That's this dude's level. At some point, you're gonna see a trailer start like that, and it's gonna cut to this guy's face. Update number 3. She starts this one by, again, addressing some people saying that this is fake or, whatever, which is understandable because it's the internet. Who knows at this point anymore? And then someone said something like she might be making this up for money or something. She says, "I'm not asking for money at all. Coming here was completely rooted in emotional desperation, and I didn't expect anyone to get invested in my story this way. But again, I'm not looking for anything out of this. I have no reason to lie. I'm not gaining anything from this. If you don't believe me, that's fine. I don't care. But the only thing I ask is do not cross the line and start sending me private messages that are mean-spirited or accusatory. The only reason I'm continuing to post is because of those who have sent me love here, and the support really lifted my spirits," which is also, that's understandable and valid. Anyway, moving on. As for the divorce, it's very much underway. I'm not going to get into the specifics of it all because it's ongoing and I want to make sure everything is going to go smoothly. I got temporary custody of Mary. Paul also has to pay temporary child support. There's a protective order. Paul can't contact us or come near us. Right now, we're just focusing on getting through this legal mess. Again, not getting into specifics because I don't want to mess anything up, but what I'll say is I'm very confident, divorce aside, that there's overwhelming evidence against Paul that will get him in serious trouble, and it will impact him for the rest of his life.
That one was really good. You can't even deny that one was good. Let me try that one again.
Dude, I have no ounce of cool in my body. All right. I'm sure eventually I can share more about that. I know a lot of people are concerned about his predatory ways, and I just want to convey this, even though I have to be vague right now. Justice will come. All of your concern about how my kids are doing psychologically means a lot to me. Eric has been to therapy twice over the last 2 weeks. I know some people thought I was dismissive of him and acting like he's doing okay. I very much know that he's hurting internally, and we're doing everything we can to make sure he knows he is supported and loved. My brother has been amazing in spending time with Eric and Mary, and both of them have confided in him about a lot. My brother has a very healthy marriage, and both he and his wife have really stepped up to the plate for all of us. Mary has not seen a therapist yet, but she promises that she will be open to seeing one soon. Her anger has mostly turned into sadness, I noticed, and I hope I can get her to see a therapist soon. Her friends have played a key role in this whole thing, and that's something that Mary has been grappling with as well. I know a lot of people are invested in the well-being of Amy as well. There were a lot of questions about whether Eric and Amy would still see each other at school. It sounded like they go to the same school, but they do not. Eric and Amy went to the same junior high school and knew each other even then. But Amy ended up going to an all-girls Catholic high school, while Eric, and Mary too, stayed in the public school system. Oh, I just had a dark thought. I don't think the Catholic girl's outfit that was hanging in your husband's closet was one that he got from a, adult store. I think it was Amy's. Okay. Well, if at any point in this you see me just look the other way, okay? I wish I had a better Amy update, but it's gotten a lot worse since the last update. Paul has actually been seeing Amy despite her mother trying to force her not to see him.
Madam.
She tells me that Amy says she's 18 and an adult and she can do what she wants. Her mother is in a precarious spot because if she kicks Amy out of the house for defying her, something that she has threatened to do, which I think is a mistake, she would just run to Paul permanently. The time she spends with Paul has increased over the last week, despite the fact that Paul initially ghosted her when all of this first hit the fan. There were some days where Amy would just be gone for hours on end. There's only so much I could do with the Amy situation, but again, I do believe things will turn around soon with that, given what I know about Paul and what's to come. I can only pray that Amy can get help and guidance when more shit hits the fan. I'm doing everything I can with my own kids and my own mental health, and Amy's mom knows she has my support, and that's all I could really provide.
Christmas is probably a horrifying time to be in the home of a pervert, Because the only decorations they buy are mistletoes.
Number one, I think we really need to stop calling an 18-year-old kid an adult. It's just, I know it's legally the truth, I guess. Brains are still developing at 18. It's science. It's not an adult. We need to put it in a different category, at least. If you don't want to say child, fine, whatever. I disagree, but fine. Because they get in situations like this, and they can technically be like, hey, I'm an adult. I can do what I want. And then the parents are like, that's true. I mean, the law says, damn it. Another point I've been thinking about, people don't realize that, when a parent screws up, this bad, screws up to the point where the town hears about it, the kid has to answer the questions at school. They got to get bullied. They have to just endure so many looks and things like that and judgment. I had a best friend when I was in elementary school. I'll call him Caleb because he's a real person. He was my best friend, and he lived just one house over, 5 feet away. And I went to his house every day. And his dad was an alcoholic. And one day he drove straight through the music building of our school because he was hammered drunk picking up Caleb from school. I, of course, had no idea what to say to him. I was 8, I had no idea. And I don't think anybody else did either around him because he just got so much crap for it. And he got made fun of. And just seeing the look on his face every day was it hurt me, even just witnessing it. I hurt for him. And I still do, thinking about it. All right, update number 4. This one comes a whole year later. So a lot of time has passed from those first several updates. Mary and Eric were both traumatized, and they are still in therapy a year later about it. The amount of scorched earth Paul caused is mind-boggling to me. I'm still rattled by it, and I don't think I will ever recover. to be honest. Paul and Amy dated for several months after we started the divorce proceedings. I tried my hardest to keep in touch with Amy's mom to see if there was anything we can do for her to realize Paul's predatory behavior and maybe speak out against him to see if he slept with her or did anything with her when she was younger, but she refused to talk about anything. She was in love still. Just a few weeks before the divorce was supposed to finalize, Paul disappeared. He drained what was left of our shared accounts, what I hadn't actually locked down, and left. We found out that he bought a one-way ticket to I don't know how to pronounce that, Cambodia. That's what innocent people do. When they're accused of things, they start anew all across the world. I had no idea. I got a notification from the financial tracking alert my lawyer set up. That was it. We were close to finalizing everything. I had full custody of Mary. He wasn't contesting anything. Then he stopped replying, didn't show up to court, never filed anything, nothing. It was just like he dissolved. Amy, according to her mother, was devastated and she's completely gone mentally right now. She's basically nomadic, sleeping in a friend's home around the area, refusing to come home. He started day one with her. He started day one. My lawyer pushed for a default judgment and the court granted it. The divorce is technically finalized now. I have custody. He's in violation of the support order, but none of it matters. He's gone. Cambodia has no extradition treaty, no child support enforcement, nothing. There's no way to make him come back. No way to make him pay anything. We have no actual clue where he is in Cambodia. One thing that chills me to my core is how notorious Cambodia is when it comes to trafficking minors.
I hate traffic. I hate it.
Eric's in college. He keeps his distance from everything to do with Paul. He doesn't say much, but he's steady. I know it still hurts. He just doesn't show it. Mary's quiet about it too. She still brings up little things sometimes, things she remembers now in a different light. She asked me the other night if I thought Paul would come back. I didn't answer. I don't think she really wanted me to. I don't know what Paul's doing in Cambodia. I don't know who he's talking to or what his life looks like now. I've had a few people tell me to report him to the FBI or try to push for an international investigation. I've made the calls. I've filed what I could, but there's only so much that they can do when someone hasn't technically committed a crime that's provable in the U.S. Damn it. What happened to the proof that you were alluding to? There's gotta be something. Gotta be something, man. I don't believe he left the country just to avoid alimony. I think he's a predator and I think he's a criminal. That's all for now. I don't have much else to give. I'm still here. My kids are still here and we're trying. Thanks to everyone for their concern and care. It really warms me. It means so much to me. Life is very eerie, I feel like. One moment you're playing catch with your dad in the backyard and you're having meals with him every night and he's just around. He's in your life constantly because he's dad. And then suddenly you're never able to see him again. In this case, he's on the run. And I'm sure they noticed some signs and stuff, but like, he's dad. So they didn't assume the worst. No. They probably just assume, oh, he's working too much, or oh, he's got something on his mind, blah, blah, blah. But like, he was still dad to them. It's like they're grieving a death, but it's like worse than that because he's a horrible person and probably a criminal, most likely, and definitely a psychopath. So like they don't even get to have memories. The good memories, the memories have to die too, basically. So it's like they're dealing with two different deaths in many ways. At least when somebody dies, you can have things and memories and mementos to hold on to. For them, it's like those are done. Those are ruined. And then on top of it, everybody in their life knows what he did. I assume they're probably in a small town, judging by the way things were talked about. Because small town, if you ever watch a crime doc, it's just a small town. Everybody knows everybody. Two things I've learned watching crime documentaries. Number one, don't live in a small town. And then number two, don't light up a room. Darken it. Make it depressing in there. You won't get got. All right, that is going to be my time. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little Christmas action we got going here today. I enjoyed it. I'll tell you that. The Christmas part. Hit the little box in the top left-hand corner and we'll keep reading some more Reddit stories. Until then, that is my time. All right, toodles.